You leave him in there because you believe in him, and he comes back and he gets the return to set eventually the winning score. And that's just the kind of team this is. Whatever happens the rest of this year, I can't tell you how I feel about this group. It's a very special group of people. It really is.
First, early in the game, I guess you started throwing the ball a lot, and I guess the questions of when were you going to get to Marshall? I mean, was that the game plan to not get?
Let me just put all that to rest for a second. You come in my office, and you look at tape all week long, and you game plan, and then tell me how many times I should run or pass. When they put 8 people up there and they're blitzing everybody, and you want me to keep handing Marshall the ball, we're going to lose him, and we're going to lose that football game. That's why we did it. And that's why they call us coach. We work all week. We game plan this stuff. We work our ass off to adjust. And sometimes when you adjust, it doesn't work. But it's not a question about how many times you need to get this guy the ball or that guy the ball. You have to look out there what they're doing to you and be smart and give your players the best opportunity to win.
How did you guys handle the blitz better in the second half?
I think we did. We had a couple of max protections in the first half where we blocked 8 guys and they got through. A couple of assignment errors, and those are the growing pains that I've been talking about that we're going to have with this group for a while. Mark missed 2 hot reads where he took sacks on. So those are some of the things that we're going to deal with. We got to fight through this stuff. If we can fight through this stuff and continue to win, it says a lot about this group.
Overall, you were happy with Bolger's?
Very happy with him, yes.
What impressed you with his performance?
I think that he got shook up there in the first half pretty good. He got shook up. I think that when he stumbled away, coming away to get that ball hot out there to Marshall, he tripped and fell. He came back and we tried to go another way, and he kept the ball. He didn't release it. That shook him up because he knows better, and because the defense did a great job getting the ball down there for us, and we came out of there with no points. And what he did, that great players will do, that after they make a mistake like that, they put it to rest immediately, and they don't let them affect the next series or the next down. They've got a short memory, and they come back and play very well. And somebody told me, I don't know if this is the case, but he was 15 of 17 in the second half or something like that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a big league quarterback, and that's what you have to do.
Coming out of the second half, you talked about adjustments. You came out in a 12-play drive. They covered 93 yards. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Mark makes a couple of huge plays in that. He makes one play going backwards. I don't know how he got the ball out of there. He was going backwards and flipped out to Torrey, and of course got guys making plays, and there's a couple of big runs. Lamar had to come off the bench and make a couple of big runs for us, and Keith says a 4 or 5 yard run's a big run at that point, Somehow, some way, guys were going to make a play. And that's the beautiful thing about this group.
What happened to Marshall? Did he get poked in the eye?
He did. They call it a bruised eye, but guess who we went to win the game? It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out, but we threw him the ball too. So.
Speaking of young,
that was that linebacker that could run so fast. By the way, go ahead. I'm sorry. Nothing. I couldn't help myself.
Speaking of young, kind of unproven players, how about the looker and the touchdown catch?
Well, this was a new play for us, and it's put in for Dane. And obviously we're faking the ball to Marshall. We felt like he would attract a lot of attention down the red zone, and they left him uncovered, and of course he scored. And then Mark, again, gets pressure late and just lays it in there for him. And 89 catches the ball like he's been doing this his whole life. So here's some guys. I shouldn't go on and on, but there's some guys that played so well in this game that haven't played. You got to feel great about that.
Like your touchdown drives, 9 plays, 69 yards, 12 plays, 93 yards, 8 plays, 71 yards. Is this a different kind of team in terms of more of a grinded-out type of an offense?
It depends on who we're playing, Ed. It really does. If you're not pragmatic, if you say, hey, this is what we're going to do, by God, then it's a hit-or-miss deal. You've got to go into a game, and like we did, you have to be able to adjust. If there's a lot of pressure and there's some leaks yet, then you're going to have to live and die on just moving the chains. And when you can take a shot, when you can get one, you get one. But you have to be patient then. That's why at the end of the half, I let the clock run. Something, just did not. We're down 10-3, or 10-7. We're in this thing, and you throw it down there. Somebody picks off, and they run it back. There's so many bad things can happen at that point. Just get the half over, go and regroup, and let's come storm the gates the second half.
What adjustments did you make at the beginning of the third quarter?
obviously try to get some of their blitzes stopped.
A lot of it was a running game, perimeter type runs, how we run the ball. We had to change. We had to change some things in terms of the types of protections that we're using to help Mark a little bit. You know, trying to find the key matchups that we could use, and I was scrambling a little bit in the first half too. And I made some bad calls in the first half I'd like to have back, but obviously there's some bad calls I made that they made the play anyway. So, you know how that goes.
Mark, I mean, somebody's got to ask this. Does Mark start next week?
I think we'll address that issue at the beginning of the week. This is a time to celebrate a win and feel good and not have this type of situation to visit yet. And there's time enough to deal with that, and I will deal with that on Monday. Who are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Lamar's our starting fullback. We're going to do like we do with Robert Holcomb. He's bigger than Robert. Lamar's too good a football player not to get on the field. We've gone through 4 or 5 fullbacks trying to find the right guy, and he was sitting right in front of us the whole time. So all these things, as we go through the beginning of the season, we're trying to sort out the Dane Looker, the Harris, Lamar Gordon, and this and that, and try and get these things lined up. And once we get the personnel where we need to have them and they get some reps, I think that it's going to be a pretty good team eventually.
What made you decide on Gordon?
Pardon me?
What made you decide on Gordon?
He knows everything. I let him decide on this. I made this opportunity to him last spring. He wasn't ready for that. I said, Lamar, look, you can stand next to me on the sideline and watch the game and play occasionally, or you can run out there as a starting fullback and play most of the game. It's your choice. Now, are you going to be a lead blocker? Sometimes you are. You're just going to have to. But we're not an I-formation team. Can you imagine having those 2 backs in the backfield? You don't know who's going to get the ball. You can throw one, hand one. I mean, it's just, and you can't do that until he buys into it, you know. When he buys into it, then he's going to play his butt off, which he's doing right now. And I'm excited and thrilled to have him in that spot. But it couldn't happen until he decided, hey, you know, I won't play. And the same thing happened with Robert Holcomb. He did the same thing.
When did you first broach the subject?
I think
A victorious yet feisty coach, when asked about giving the ball to Marshall Faulk, he kind of had that tongue-in-cheek and kind of thumbed his nose at people, and he said when it came winning time, where'd we go? Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, Rams beat the 49ers by 3 in overtime. Jeff Garcia falls to 1-7 career against the Rams. Dennis Erickson falls to 0-1, at least as the coach of the 49ers. We caught up with the 49ers. The field goal favorite against the visiting 49ers, and Kurt Warner, Mark Bulger. Bulger, he looked like Warner early. He fumbled 2 times in the first half. Jeff Garcia, 1-6 career against the Rams. 0-4 in this building. Terrell Owens, 4 100-yard receiving games against the Rams, his most against any club, but he's knocked out. Stinger, then it was called a concussion, but T.O. would be back. San Francisco got on the board early. Garcia to tie Streets after a botched punt by the Rams. Torrey Holt ordering the in-and-out burger. One-handed grab. We're tied at 7. Garcia on the handoff, but look in the back. Leonard Little just levels him, and Garcia leaves with the concussion. Both fellas, though, they come back, and Garcia finds Owens, and they look to be okay. 49ers led 10-7 at the half. T.O. would catch 5 balls, none bigger than this one. 4th and 8 with the game on the line. And the dance. You got to get it. The dude can dance.
That's imagination, brother.
We go to OT, and the 49ers will never see the football. Bulger to Marshall Faulk right there. Down inside the 10, and Jeff Wilkins, 28 yards. It's all over. The Rams get the win. 27-24 is your final. Garcia, 222 yards passing. Garrison Hurst with 89 yards. Owens, 5 catches, 42, and the catch descended to OT. Marshall Faulk suffered a bruised eye in this ball game, had just 90 yards of total offense, but it was the 49ers, black and blue. Here's the Marshall with our Ed Werder.
The Rams win with Mark Bulger replacing Kurt Warner, and the guy who really turned around offensively, Marshall. They really gave you the ball in the second half, emphasized the running game with you and Lamar Gordon.
I think we just came out and we played good all around. You know, it was a collective effort, not just by us on offense, but by defense and special teams, as you saw. That's what we need to win ball games right now, until the young guys on this team understand the things that's necessary for us to win. And, you know, some of the older guys, we got to step up too every once in a while.
It seemed like, 49ers were in your end of the field the whole first half, and as you point out, the defense really kept the score close enough for you to overcome it at the end.
They did a great job letting them, making them kick field goals, turning them back, making them miss field goals. We did a good job.
Okay, Marshall, thanks very much. Marshall Faulk ranking now 10th in the NFL's all-time list of all-purpose rushers. Back to you in the studio.
49ers ran. Last 4 years, the Niners have not won in there. But Mike Martz sees Kurt Warner, says you're sitting, made that decision this week, and Mark Bulger, the Tin Man, is starting for the St. Louis Rams. And with the Niners scoring first 7-0, Torrey Holt with a pretty catch on a nice throw by Bulger. Look at Holt, Tom.
Great one-hand catch by Holt and a great route that he ran. And this is what they were able to do 4 deep in terms of receivers. We're all able to run good routes. We all have great hands.
Both Terrell Owens and Jeff Garcia were dinged, concussion-like, but they were both back. And then 10-7 Niners, but the tip pass to Travis Fisher. Watch Terrell Owens save what looks like a touchdown here late in the second quarter. He tracks Fisher down despite the fact he had a convoy.
Well, that's great hustle by Terrell Owens. That's Aeneas Williams trying to get out in front and trying to block him. And you can see how big and strong he is. He runs through Aeneas and makes a great play. Ends up without a score, as you said.
And no score at all involved because the Niners bring some defense here, Tom.
Yeah, Chidi Ahanatu and Brian Young. Just watch them back out. Watch the linemen in front of them. They're looking for somebody to hit. Meanwhile, the quarterback, Mark Bulger, is taking the brunt of that pressure 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Pretty amazing look right there.
So defenses both having their way at this point. It's 10-7 Niners at the half. And then for the first time this year, we can say it, Marshall. 26 yards. We miss saying that, Tom.
I know.
But he had to come out, had the eye looked at. Later in the drive from the 2, Marshall. Had to say it quicker. It's just a 2-yard run. 14-10, the Rams take the lead. Faulk, 18 carries, 57 yards. But now it's 17-14 San Francisco. Bulger, after 2 fumbles earlier in the game, now looks good to Dane Goodlooker. Touchdown. Warner even says, way to go on the sidelines to Bulger as the Rams have a 21-17 lead. Just before the 2-minute warning. How about the draw plays called by Dennis Erickson and staff? 2 big ones to Garrison Hurst in this final drive, Tom. That's 36 yards. 4th and 8. 23 seconds left. Down 7. Garcia. Owens. Touchdown. We're tied at 24. So we go to overtime. Well, maybe not yet. Let's pooch kick it. And then watch. Doink! It's off the Rams' head. The ball is loose. Arnaz battle. Desi Arnaz falls on it. You got a lot of explaining to do. 49ers ball. 9 seconds to go. Garcia. Cedric Wilson. They got a timeout. Get down. Get down. Or if not, score. And there goes the gun. We're going to They couldn't get the timeout. They go to overtime, so you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose the toss. That's a given. And the Rams get the ball and return it almost to midfield. Bulger, Marshall Faulk, Marshall, inside the 10. Wilson can only hope that one-time Niner kicker Jeff Wilkins misses the 28-yard chip shot. He doesn't. It's good. Mike Martz, Rams, dodged the Niners bullet. The Niners were good enough to win this game in there. But for the 5th straight year in there, the Rams continue their late mastery of the 49ers and win a very important game for them. 27-24. So both of these squads now are at 1-1 in a game that, well, now we have to look forward, okay? Kurt Warner will be 100% healthy, we think, next week.
And he will be the backup.
Right. I mean, is that where we go?
Yeah, I think that's a given, and that's what Mike Martz has said. And I think the difference is that they had a little more balance, at least when they got to the second half of this football game. You had 7 runs for the Rams in the first half. You had more than that in the first drive of the second half, 8, when they went 93 yards for a score to take the lead. After that, I think that run-pass ratio is 17-19, much more balanced. And I give Mike Martz credit because he made this decision between Warner and Bulger. Yes, it was made easier for him because of the concussion, but he made this decision week one.
And one comment on the Niners side, 13 penalties for 121. A lot of them the foolish jumping off. They were good enough to win it, but they couldn't quite beat the Rams.